Yeah, I remember when we left town. This song was playing on the radio. I think it was Annette Hansway. Every time I heard that song on the radio nowadays, I remember the city through the windows in my mind's eye. Yeah, Dad got a new job for the Noorse Compagnie, so we went and moved out to Kralingenburgh. I had to put all my belongings in this really small bag, which of course wasn't much because I was born in the middle of the crisis. I don't remember much from the town anymore. I remember this old city gate and the rail line going straight through town. It wasn't fun saying goodbye to all my childhood friends. Nieuwe Sluis was the only place I ever knew. When we arrived at the newly built harbor, a really big ship was waiting for us. It was one of those ocean liners. I was 10 back then. I never saw such a big machine in my life. I remember sitting on the trunk of my dad's Buick, just being in awe of how big the ship could actually be. I really didn't want to leave. I understand we had to go. Dad was unemployed for a long time, but I just rather stayed here. They told me Kralingenburgh is a really harsh place.
Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of ZILT. In this episode we're gonna work on the ferry terminal. And as you guys might have seen already in the intro, I actually expanded the city quite a bit. And one of the things I needed for the city was a ferry terminal to make the link with the island of Kralingenburgh, which will be the map I'm gonna be working on later on. Actually, the only reason this town exists is the island of Kralingenburgh, because it's like the connection between. So there's going to be the ferry terminal, there's probably going to be an airport, and this is going to be the only way in and out to the island. And of course, there are a lot of northern towns. We got Den Helder, Leeuwarden, Groningen, and even the smaller ones. But in my mind, in this story, this is the gateway to the island. It can't be all realistic, of course. I'm gonna make a fake island, so who cares? So, what we're seeing on screen now is the station. And I was looking at the Institute of the Dutch Military History database. And there's this great file which contains a couple of thousand photos of aerial reconnaissance in the Netherlands during the 1920s. And they photograph mostly strategic places, but those are stations, harbors, dikes, but also city centers and old fortresses. It's really cool. It's public domain, so you can look it up. I'll link it in the description. But I came across this image of Stavoren, which shows the ferry terminal from Stavoren to Enkhuizen, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the old connection across the Zuiderzee when it still was a sea, because these images predate the Afsluitdijk. And I thought it would look really cool. The building also looked like an asset on the workshop. I think it's by, I'm gonna butcher his name now, Gijs? I don't know, I think it's a French guy. And he made great assets. And there's this one of a French rural station, and it looks just like the one from Stavoren. So yeah, I just had to PO it a little bit and it was done. It was really easy. So yeah, and then I could really quickly go to detailing, of course. I used the images as well. And I found out that in Holland, back in the days, every little area people could use to grow something, they will use. So even here on the sides of the tracks, the small fields are being used for growing vegetables. So I wanted to add that. So I made this little yard with trees, and it's always hard to make fields in this game, I think. And I don't want to overdo it on the details too much, or on the props, because, well, it goes really quickly, of course. We all know the prop count. But I've loved how it came out. It really added something. Before I forget to mention, the town has a name. It's called Nieuwe Sluis, and it's based on an actual town which existed. It has nothing to do with this town, really, but it's one of those towns which got demolished to help city expand. So this particular one has been demolished for the big infrastructure needed for the Europort, which is the large harbor of Rotterdam. But there are also really there are plenty of names to be used, because a lot of towns in Holland disappeared into the ocean or are just plain legends from back in the day. So I had plenty of choice. So for now, I'm gonna leave you guys with some building, and I'll be back later in the video to show you around. So, welcome back and thanks for sticking around. Here's the overview I promised you guys. On the top side you can see the windmills, which we did in episode 1. And on the left side is the harbor I just built. Right in the center is the city of Nieuwe Sluis, which is a so-called vestingstad. So that means it's a fortified town which got the triangle-shaped walls around it, which is quite typical in the Netherlands. Got the old city gate right here. It's an asset I created and I will release it when this episode goes live. I think this build was a bit messy. It was a bit big to make a whole story about, so next time I will try to make a smaller project and make a nicer building video out of it. But for now I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like, subscribe and keep following along on this journey of this town. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode of ZILT. Till next time, this was Jazz. Bye.